Hello, guys. Good evening. I hope everyone is doing good today. So, I'm happy to have you all for this Python interview series, part 9. So, thank you all for the amazing response we have got till this point. And today we will be continuing on the string methods. And that's why you can see in the thumbnail it says part 3 of 9. So I've splitted the strings methods, string operations into 9 parts. So this is the third video for the string methods. All right. And now, before we jump to the video, I would like to introduce about us. We are Data Valley, and we are the fastest growing edtech company of 20. And if you're wondering that what kind of assistance and support we can provide to you, we provide you with IT solutions, trainings, and placements as well. So if you are at any point of your career development, please feel free to check out our website and reach to our colleague, and they'll be more than happy to help you with your program. If you need trainings, yes, we do help you with that. And let's say you own a company and you need a talent pool of people. Yes, we do have people who can provide you with solutions. And let's say, yes, you are able to perform and you've just finished your university and you're looking for a job. Do not worry about it. We provide you with placement assistance as well. So, and that's the reason we are the fastest growing edtech company of 2020. And we are passionately serving all the students and the IT community. So, and we welcome you to be part of this Data Valley community, and good luck with learning the video. And you all know the routine. What you have to do: grab a cup of coffee, grab your notes as well if you have the habit of taking notes, and we will jump to our video for today. And myself, Franklin, I have almost 3+ years of experience as a data engineer. And me as a trainer, I'm happy to bring you all these kind of knowledge content to you. And I hope this benefits you in your interview. And I request you, if you have any friends around, feel free to share the video with them as well, so that it'll be helpful for their interviews as well. If you like the video, do like the video, and do click the bell icon as well, so that you don't miss on the regular updates as well. If you have any questions, drop your questions in the comment section. I will try to address them either in this section or in the upcoming video. So to start with, we are already learning about the methods in Python, right? We previously learned about how to create how to create string, what is a string, and within strings we learned few methods. For instance, in the last video we learned about strip method, lstrip method, or strip method, replace method, split method, or split method, and splitlines method. And today we are going to cover further 5 more methods from the. To start with, what is join method in Python? Join method in Python is a string method, and it is a built-in method as well. And what this join method does is that it helps you to concatenate your elements of an iterable into a single string. So you're going to have an iterable, and the elements of those iterable, okay, you can concatenate them to make them into one single. So it is called as a separator string, and it takes an iterable. So what do I mean by it is called an on and separator? For split method, you always have a separator or a delimiter mentioned. You mention it using the sep keyword, and then in the after the equal to, you mention what kind of delimiter you want to split it according. Similarly, for the join method, you have your separator mentioned first. So at first you'll mention so at first you'll be mentioning the separator, okay, whatever the separator you want the elements to be in different form. For example, let's say you want to have a white space character, then that is your separator. So let's say you want to have a comma, you can have that. So you, for any instance, whatever the separator you would like to have, you call on that particular separator string, and then you call whatever the iterable that you would like to make the join function run on. So what is the functionality? So first you call on the separator string, which will take the iterables as its argument. And once it takes that, the separator string is then inserted between each element of the iterable. So whatever the iterables that you have, so those iterables you will be inserting the separator string. So whatever you are calling in your separator string, that gets inserted for each element of your iterable. Therefore, it will result in an concatenated string or a join string. The syntax here is separator.join iterable. So that's what I meant by the separator string. So the separator, you will mention what kind of separator would you like to include in your or the concatenated string. For example, uh, you have a comma, okay? You want to have the separator as your comma. You mention this comma within a double quoted string. So that's what I call by a separator string. So you mention this the delimiter within a double quoted string, and then you call your join function, and your join function is going to have your iterable. All right. The string that will be used to join the elements of the iterable. We will see that in the code implementation, and it will help you to understand it far better. And then you have your iterables here. So what do you mean by an iterable? An iterable is an anything that can be iterated again and again. So part of your iterable object can be a list, it can be a tuple, it can be a string. So these are part of your iterable. Okay, so an iterable object containing elements that can be converted to strings. If any element in the iterable is not a string, the type error will be raised. So make sure that whatever you're trying to perform your the join method in, okay, those join methods that are being called in must be of a string type. Okay, let's say you have an iterable that is of list, but make sure that those elements are of a list type, I mean of string type. So if you don't have your iterable to be a string, then what happens is that a type error will be raised. So what is a type error? So you are expecting a string type. Unfortunately, you're providing it with some other type, the data type, and therefore your Python is raising an error called as type error. So a type mismatch error, basically. Okay. Let's see how this works in our code example. So at first, let's see how to join the elements of a list. So first I'm creating a variable called words, and it is having a list of strings in it, or a list of substrings, you can call it either way. So if you notice here, first string is Python, then the second string is, and the third string is awesome. So it is of a three substrings in a list, right? So it's a list of a substring. And now I'm creating a new variable called sentence. And now if you notice, here is our syntax. So the separator string first. So how do I want it to be joined in? So my separator should be a white space. If you notice here, I've got a white space here, right? So it's a white space there. So I want to perform the join function using a white space separator, and I'm using a dot notation to call my join method. And where do I want to call this join method? I want to call it in my words. So words is my list of, so this is my original string, pay attention, Python comma is comma awesome. And now when I run this, you'll be able to find that I've created a new string that just goes like Python is awesome. And if you notice here, in between Python and is, I've got a white space. In between is and awesome, I've got a white space. And how is that? It is because I've got a white space in my separator. For instance, let's say I'm mentioning a double underscore. And if that is my separator, then I'll be having my join as a double underscore. All right. So make sure that you specify the right separator for your particular use case. So you have Python is awesome. And then joining the elements of a tuple with a custom separator. So we have seen how we can do that for our list of substrings. And now let's try to join based on the tuple. Okay. So I've got a tuple here. How do I know it is a tuple? Because so I've got a round bracket here, and within the round bracket, I've got apple, comma banana, comma cherry. So within the round bracket, it signifies a tuple. All right. And now, as how we did for our list of substrings, I'm going to do the same for the tuples as well. So I'm calling it into a new variable called fruit strings, and then I'm mentioning my separator here. So if you notice here, I've called in a comma, and then I've got a double white space, and then I'm calling my join method. And where do I want to perform this join in? To my fruits variable, which has a tuple. And now when I call this, you can see that I've got apple comma banana comma cherry. But if you notice very keen, I've got comma single space double space, comma single space and double space. So whatever I have in my separator string, that comes into my join method. So for to make it easy, let me cut down one space, and now when I create it, I can see that I've got one comma and a single white space, a comma and a single white space. So this is how you perform your join method for your tuples. Now let's see how we can run the join method for our strings. So talking about the list of strings and your strings, the application or your functionality is different. How is that different? Okay, let's talk it. I've got a string called as hello, okay, for a variable text. So it is a single string, no substrings, nothing, right? It's just a single word hello, which makes our string. And now to my new variable called join text, I'm using my separator string, okay? This is my separator string. You might be wondering, a list of substring is separate by a delimiter, and hence join method is efficient. You have a tuple, you have a three elements in your tuple, and you're joining it, it makes sense. So how does this work in your a single string? Because there is nothing to join there, it is already hello, right? It's a single word. So how does it differ for using your join method for your string? So when I specify what separator string I want to use in my join method, now if you notice, all my elements within my variable are split using the particular hyphen, right? So hyphen, so h hyphen e hyphen l hyphen l hyphen and o. So my single string has been iterated again and again with an hyphen, and then I've created a new word called hello. So does it work only with the hyphen? No, even with the white space it works. This should be like hello. So double hyphen, yes, it works. So but what you have to learn here is that whatever separator that you're using iterates again and again through the each element. If you consider this, it is a single element, right? Apple is a single element of your tuple. Banana is a single element of your tuple. Cherry is a single element of your tuple. But if you consider a string, H is a single element of your full string. E is a single element of your full string. L is again a single element of your string. It breaks open each element and then it performs the join functionality. Now let's see how it works for a dictionary. Okay, so joining keys based on the dictionary. I've created a new dictionary here called mydict, and it is denoted using a curly bracket. And if you notice here, I've got the key and a value. So name is key, Alice is value, separated by a comma. Age is a key again, and 30 is a value. So name Alice, age 30, key value. And now what I want to do is I want to join the keys of my dictionary. Okay, you will be wondering why am I mentioning the keys. When the code implements, it'll help you to understand. I'm creating a new variable here called dict keys joined, and then in here I'm using an underscore as my separator string. And for my underscore separator string, so pay attention, it's not a hyphen, it's an underscore. Okay, hyphen is something like this. So this is hyphen, okay, but it is even more under, right? It's an underscore dot join. And where do I want to write the join function in? I want to use it in my dict. So when I run this, you can see that I've created something like name underscore age. You might be wondering why. Okay, to avoid the confusion, let me use comma now and a space. Okay, whatever separator I've used, I've got it, but it has taken only the key value here. So I've got the name, which is a key, and age, which is a key. So I've got here name comma age. So one thing I want you to notice here is that if I use my dict, or in other words it is dot value, okay, it will give you the same functionality. Okay, oh sorry, it's a key. So if I use the keys, it is going to give me the same functionality. Okay, so name comma age. So just let me copy and put this so that when you refer it later it'll be useful to you. I'll just remove dot. Okay, so this is going to give me the same result. And why is that? Because the default behavior is to join based on the, and that is why the default behavior by my dict goes like name comma age. So now you might be wondering, okay, you have performed a join for your keys, so how do I perform a join based on the value and not the key? Okay, we have got a solution for that. So to perform your join for your key, for your values, then you gotta use a different functionality. So how does that go? Like, okay, if you notice here, I've got a new variable here called values join. So previously we did for the keys, and now I'm doing it for the values. So in here I've got the separator string as a pipe. So single space pipe, single space. So then I'm performing a join function and my dict dot values. So when I call in the values, it is going to perform the joins based on the values of my. And now let me run this, and now you will be able to understand what's the difference here. So if you see here, I've got Alice 30. So this is the key difference here. If you want to perform a join for your keys, then you have to use mydict or mydict.keys bracket or method. And then for performing joins for your values, then you gotta mention mydict.values open and close round bracket. And now let's learn about how to find an element within a string. So you have got a string, and now you want to find certain substring or a element or a character within a string. How do you do that? To perform that, you have got the find method. So for your find method, you have to know that it is a built-in method. So by using this built-in method, you can try to locate the first occurrence of a specified substring within a given string. So you are going to specify what substring it is, and then based on that, you are going to locate the occurrence of your specified substring within a given string. So what do I mean by a specified substring within a string? So let's say you have a full string, and then within the string, you want to find a particular element or a character or a substring. So whatever is mentioned in your substring, you'll be able to find it. Let's talk about the syntax. The syntax is the string that you want to perform this functionality in, that is your string, and then I'm using dot notation and find method. So dot find, and within the find method, I've got three parameters. I want you to pay attention to this because this is very crucial. Because in the methods that is to be followed, you'll be often having these three parameters repeated again and again. So if you know these three parameters well, you will know how to play around with those methods in your. So I've got, or you can call it a substring, then I've got a start parameter, and then you've got an end parameter. The sub parameter, you can call it substring. I usually like it calling it substring. This substring parameter is a required parameter. So whenever you call in a find method, you necessarily have to mention these substring. Let's talk logically. Okay, you want to find something from your string. How do you specify it? Where do you specify what you need to find? It makes sense, right? So whenever you use your find method, make sure that you specify the substring that you would like to find in a string. So this is your required parameter. And then you have got start parameter and an end parameter. Both the start and your end parameter are an optional parameter. So if you want, you can specify it. If you don't want it, you can still skip it, and your find function will still work fine. To use the start parameter, you need to specify the value in an integer format. Why is that an integer value? Yes, we will talk about it. So what this start parameter does is that, for example, you have got a string, okay, and to that particular string, you want to find a particular, and to find that particular substring. For example, let's put it a sentence like Python is okay, and I want to find the element n. So if you notice, I've got one n at Python, right? At the end of the Python, I've got a alphabet N, and then I've got it next to fun. So Python is fun. So I've got one at the end of the word fun. And let's say I want to find the letter N, but not from Python. Okay? Because based on this concept, whenever you use the find method, it is going to locate the first occurrence of the specified substring or a character or an element. But I don't want to have the first element, but rather I want you to run through and find it from the specified range of the. So what I do is I can specify the range using the index. So hence you have to mention the start position using the index number. So index numbers are mentioned in the integer type. For example, let's say you don't mention your start parameter. When you don't mention your start parameter, by default, it starts from the beginning of your string. So it is not going to go anywhere. It just starts from the beginning because you haven't mentioned any integer to start from. Sorry, the index to start from. Then you have got end parameter as same as start parameter. You're going to have an end parameter which is optional, and you specify the end parameter in an integer data type. And what happens is that when the end parameter is mentioned, your search or your find will stop at that particular index position. So start position will start your search from, and your end parameter will end your search. Okay, and whatever the character at this index is not included. So what do I mean by that? When you specify the end index, it becomes exclusive. So it is not included and it becomes exclusive. And when you don't specify the end parameter, what happens is that the search will continue till the end of your Talking about the return type, if the substring is found within the specified range of the string, the find method returns the index of the first character of the first occurrence of substring. So let's say you have a big string, okay, and you're trying to find a substring. If a particular element or a character or a substring is found, as soon as it is found, the find stops and the first position or the first index position where your element was found, that number will be written. So at most it locates the first occurrence and then it gives you an index value. For example, let's say your substring is not found, your character is not found, then what happens is that it returns a value -1. Okay, let's talk about the key characteristics. The key characteristics are: find method is case sensitive. What do I mean by case sensitive? For example, I have a two text, okay? Hello and hello. Are those same? Are those same? No, right? So if you people watching the video, feel free to drop your questions or answers. I'll be happy to interact with you. Are these the same? No, right? Because talking about case sensitive, all of these are lowercase, and in this the first letter is alone capital, and then I've got H, L, and O as capital, and in this E and L as capital. So talking about case sensitiveness, they are different. Though they are the same word, in context to case sensitivity, yes, they are different. Therefore, when your match is not able to find, okay, for example, you're mentioning ABC, you want to find ABC, but you have something like ABC in your string, and even though it sounds the same, that is still an mismatch. And the next key characteristic, it returns only the first index occurrence of your substring. So you might have the repetitive character, repetitive substring, repetitive elements across your string, but it doesn't matter. It just returns only the first index position of your element. Okay, let's see this in our code implementation. I've created a string called as text, and it says that the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. And now what I want to do is I want to find what is the index position of the word fox. So how am I doing it? I'm calling it into a new variable called index1, and this is the a string that I want to find my substring, and I'm using dot find method, and I'm specifying the substring. So I haven't specified my start or my end range parameter. I'm just specifying fox, and now when I run it, you can see that the index of fox is 16. How is that? So your string starts from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So those are 15. And at the 16th position, you have got your fox. So therefore, the index position of fox is given as 16 in here. Okay, now you might be wondering what would happen if the substring is not found. What if the substring is not at all present? What if the particular character is not present? Would it throw out an error, or would it return us some value? We have already seen it. What does it do? It returns us a -1. So when a particular element is not found, okay, there is no cat in this, right? The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. So there is no cat in it. And when the cat is not present, it returns a value called -1. And we have already discussed about the case sensitiveness, but still we will discuss this, okay? Let me copy the string here so that we don't have to go up and down again and again. Okay, so what I'll do is I've got a string here, and now what I'm telling is find the for me. So if you notice, I've got two the here, the and the one with the capital The. And now when I try to find the index of the capital The, it says the index is 0. So 0, right? Why is that? Because it starts from 0. What if I want to find the index position of the with a small letter? All the case over here is lowercase. And when I try to find for this one, you can see that it says 31. Why is that? It could have just fetched from here, right? Which is 0. But it wouldn't, because the find method is case sensitive. Therefore, it doesn't, accept this as a find search, but rather it will try to find the perfect match, and then it will return the suitable index value. And now let's see how to find based on the specific range. Now I'm specifying the range 20, 40. What does it mean? So 20 is my start range. So that is my starting index range, and this is my ending index range. And when I try to find in this one, it says that the index range for the is 31. Okay, now you might be wondering, yes, we already know the index of the is 31. So what difference does it make even if I start from 20 to 40? Okay, let's see. I've got one more the here, and I've got the and the here, right? And I want from the range 20 to 40. So what is the range there? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So 20 starts from fox, and I believe 40 ends at dog. So now when I try to search it, the range it has given me is 35. And why is that? So for example, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35. So I've got 35 here, right? This should be some other index value because it is after this the, but it hasn't fetched that value. So whenever I try to specify the find, the very first occurrence of the particular element will be given to me for its along with its index position. So that's why I've got the index position 35 here. And now, quite opposite to it, we will learn about rfind. So what is rfind? So when you ran the find method, it ran from your left side. What do I mean by left side? So it started from the beginning of your string and then it moves forward. But in rfind, what happens is that it starts your search from your right side and not from your left side. So rfind method is used to find the highest index of the specified substring within a string. It searches from the right to left, returning the starting index of the last occurrence of a substring. Okay, here I've got my syntax. The syntax is string method. I mean the string what I want to where I want to find the particular index from, and then I'm specifying the rfind. And as our find method, I've got three parameters, which are substring, comma start, comma end. Okay, so what happens is that, for example, in find method, let's say you have a string. Okay, I've got a sample string here, a b c d e t c b a. Okay, this is our sample string. So what happens with our find is that, let's say I want to find a, or let's say d. Okay, find index of d. And now when I use the find method, what it returns is 0, 1, 2, 3. So it says that it starts your search from your left side and it goes to your right, and it says the position of d is which is right. But what happens with your r find is that, so it starts from this side. So 0, I mean not 0, but we'll come to that. So it looks for d here, a b c d, and it has got the d here. Now the index position of this d is a b, sorry, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it would return the value from the rightmost corner of my. So this is the little difference between your r find and find. So it goes from left to right, and so your right find goes from left to right, and your find goes from, sorry, I'm getting confused. Your find method goes from your left to right, and your r find moves from right side to your left side. And talking about the parameters, it is same as our find method. So you have three parameters: the substring, start, and your end. The substring is going to carry the value that you need to find within your string. And then you've got the start and your end parameter. The start index specifies where do you want to start your search from. And your end parameter specifies from what range would you like to start your, I mean, would you like to end your search from. Okay. And talking about the return value, if the substring is found, the R find will return the starting index of your last occurrence. So if you see in the return value for your find, it is going to return the starting index of your first occurrence. But in the R find, because it starts from your right side and moves to your left, it is going to return the index of your last occurrence of the particular. And what would happen if the particular substring is not found, or it is not only found within a particular range? Then it just returns a value minus. And now let's see how this works. I've got a text here saying hello world, hello Python. Okay. And now I'm using the syntax here. So index is equal to, this is a string I want to run my find in. So that is text dot notation. Then I've got the rfind method here. And within the rfind, I want to find the word hello. So I've got two hellos in here. Let's see value is getting returned to us. So this returns the value 13. So if you notice here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 13 is the portion of this hello. So that's why it has given me the value 13. And why is that? Because the search has started from our right side to our left side. All right. And now let's see what is the behavior with the find then. So I've got the same text, hello world, hello Python. And instead of or find, I'm just using the find method. And when I run this, you can see that it has returned me the value 0. Why is that? Because that is the first occurrence. So this returns the index position of the first occurrence, and your or find returns the value of your last occurrence. All right. And now let's see what would happen if the index is not found. So I've created a new variable called index not found. And now I'm using the or find method to find the word Java. Do I have Java? No, isn't it? I have hello world and hello Python, but not Java. And now when I try to run rfind, it returns me an integer -1. Why is that? Because the default behavior is when a particular element is not found, it returns the value -1. And now let's try to search within a specified. Now what I want to do is I want to find, okay, let me copy this. Okay, I've got the text here, hello world and hello Python. And now I want to find hello from the range 0 to 10. By default, you all know that it returned me value 13, isn't it? So this is the same code here. So it has returned me 13. But now what I'm doing is not just the substring, I'm also mentioning the range. So 0 and 10 are my starting and my end range. So when I specify 0, 10, you can find that it is returning me a new value 0. And why is that? Because we have specified the range 0 to 10. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I mentioned try to find hello only from this range, and now it has found the word hello. All right. Now let's play around. Maybe I'll have two hellos. Okay. Now what would be the behavior here now? Again, it'll return me the 0 here. And why is that? I think because the 0 was not taken into, because that is exclusive value. So for example, let me mention 12. And now it would return me this, right? Because the end range is exclusive. It wouldn't include the value within the range. So hello, hello, and this would return the rightmost value for me. Let's talk about the isIndex method. So we have learned find and rfind. Now let's see how is index method different to our find method. So what is the actual difference then? The index method in our Python string is used to find the lowest index position of a specified substring within a given string. So whatever the lowest index for your particular substring, you'll be able to find using the index method. And now you might be wondering, so how is it even different to your find method? Because find method also returns the lowest index position of your first occurrence of an element. So how is that then different to our index method or find method? The difference is that how your index method handles your errors. In find method, we saw that your error is handled well. So for instance, let's say you're trying to find a value, a substring within a string. And if that substring is non-existent, then you would be returned with -1, right? That is the behavior of your find. But talking about your index method, when a particular substring is not found within your string, it will throw out an error. So that is the difference between index method and your find method. Talking about your syntax, it takes first your string method. Sorry, it first takes your string. Okay, whatever the string that you have, and then to which string you want to perform this, that is your string, right? And then you're using dot notation, and you're including the function index method. So dot index method, and within the index method you have three parameters: the sub, start, and end. So sub, in other words, is a substring. So as similar to find, you will be mentioning what substring index would you like to know using the index method. So the substring is necessary as you mentioned in your find method. So substring is a necessary parameter, unlike our start and our end parameter. Your start and your end parameter are optional parameter. So in the substring, you mention what substring, in the substring parameter, you mention what substring you are looking for, and make sure that this parameter is mandatory. So therefore, do not forget to mention. Then you have got your start and your end parameter. We have already seen it briefly over, but I'll just mention it. Your start and your end parameters signifies your range. So talking about range, you have to mention it using the integer data type. So it will not take any kind of strings or float or a boolean. No, you have to mention a proper integer type. And why is that? Because index positions are always of a integer type, right? So for each element you are going to have an index position, and for each index position you will have a number which is of an integer type. So there is no way that you can mention any other kind of format like boolean or even float. You cannot use it. Make sure that you specify using the integer type. It specifies the start or your beginning of your string index find. So whatever you want to find, you specify start from this position and then run the search and give me the index. Quite opposite to your start parameter, you have your end parameter, which is again an optional parameter. And for your end parameter, you specify the ending index. So where you want to end your find, where you want to end your index search. Okay, so you specify the end range and your search stops at that particular spot. And if you don't specify your start or your end parameter, the default behavior is that it starts from your index 0, that is the very first part of your string position, and same with your end. If you don't specify the end position, the default behavior is that it travels to the end of your string, and then until it finds, it'll run through. So what is the return value? The index method returns the lowest index in the string where the substring sub is found. So as in the find method, what happened? You will try to give the index position of your first occurrence of your element, right? As same in index position, the lowest index value position of a particular substring will be given as an output, which is again an integer data type. Talking about the error handling, this is the crucial part between which is again a difference between the index and your find method. For instance, your substring is not found within the string that you would like to find your substring. If it is not found, then unlike your find method, it will raise an value error. What is an value error? You're trying to find a substring and that particular substring is not found. Therefore, your Python says that that value is not found, and therefore I'm raising an issue called value error. And for example, in your find method, if you don't have it, you return -1 without throwing out any. Let's see how this works in our code implementation. I'm creating a new string called as my string, which says that Python programming is fun. Now I want to find the index of the word prog. Okay, that is my substring. So I want to find what is the index position of this word prog. And now I'm calling my string. So that is my original string, right? I'm calling it. And to that, I'm using the dot notation. So dot index and then prog. So dot index function will take the substring parameter here. So prog. And now when I run it, I've got it. Index of prog is 7. All right. So the index position of this element is 7. So index of prog is 7. All right. And then find the index of is starting from index. Now what I want to do is I want to find the position of is, but now I'm specifying the range. The range is, so if I specify just 1, it signifies that that is my start point. And now when I run this, it says that index of is, okay, index of is in this string is at number 19, and I've specified the range as well. So it has started somewhere in here and it has somewhere here, and it has started finding the word is. And now here is the key difference. Okay, I'll just specify it there. While using the find method, if a particular word is not found, it will not throw out any error. Let me copy this. I've got the string Python programming is fun. But now I want to find if Java is found in that particular substring. Is it there? No, isn't it? And now when I try to run this, the Java substring is not found in my, therefore without returning any error, it has returned a value -1. Now let's see what happens. Index, same kind of syntax except my function name has been changed. So I'm calling in here index method. So when I call in the index method, it will throw out an error. Okay, as I mentioned already, it will return a value error. So to avoid this value error, what you can do is you can use try except block. So whenever you're aware that you're going to get an error, you can make sure that those errors are exempt from stopping your Python program. So what I'm doing, I'm using my default, right? My So same method, my string dot index of Java. I want to find the index of Java, but Java is non-existent. And now I'm putting this in the try block, and as my except block, I'm putting except value error as E. Why I have mentioned value error? Because whenever this error occurs, it is going, whenever the index or the particular substring is not found, it is going to raise a value error. So I'm raising the value error. So except value error as E, and I'm printing it. Now, without raising the error, I could say that, okay, substring is not found. That's it. So try to use try except block for cases where you don't have a particular substring or particular index position for a substring within a range. And now the last method for our day. How is R index different to index? So just to give an intro, it is similar to our find method. So you had find and then you had R find. So same, you have index and your R index. With index, you start from your left and then you travels toward your right side. But in R index, you are going to similarly as in R find, you will travel from the right side to your left side. So it's not the left to right search, but instead it's the right to left side. Is that clear? So it's not left to right. So that is the default behavior. But in R find, as the name suggests, it's right find. So it starts from the right side and then it moves to your left side. R index method is a default built-in method of your Python string. And talking about the syntax, it is as similar to index syntax, except that I've mentioned R index, which signifies right. Okay, so right index, and it takes the same parameters sub, start, and end. I'm not going to go further deep here because I've already described it detail. But to give you a short notice, short information, sub is a default or a necessary parameter. So make sure that whenever you're using R index, you have to specify what substring are you looking for. So this is a mandatory parameter and you have to mention. Then you've got two optional parameters called the start and your end. Both takes in the both takes in the integer data type as a value, and it sets the range. So whatever the range is specified, it goes only to that particular range to find the index of a substring that you're looking. And the default behavior is that when you don't mention for your start, it starts from the very first position of your string. And if you don't specify the end parameter, it goes till the last point of your string to find that particular element. What is the return value? As in your index method, it returns an integer data type. And what does this integer data type represent? It represents the index position of a particular substring within the, all right. And then we have error handling. If the substring is not found within the specified range, R index raises a value error exception. So this is the key difference between the R index and R find. So in R find method or in a find method, when a particular element is not found, it just returns -1, right? But in R index, you will be raising an error. I've got a text here, hello world, comma, welcome to the world of Python. So this is my text string. And now I want to find the last occurrence of the world, of the word world. So I've got world here. Sorry, I've got the world here, and I've got one more world here. So I've got two world, right? And now, because I use R index, it is going to start from my from my right side to left side. Let me write this here. So it goes from my right side to my left side. Okay, let me run this. And now when I try to find the world, this world or this world, your R index is going to run from your right side. Therefore, you will be getting the index position of this one, which says 28. So if you consider, if you count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this world, the index position is 6. But for this, you have got the index position 28. So this takes the last occurrence of your particular word. And now I want to find the last occurrence of the letter O for the specific range. And what is the specific range? So I've got 0 and 15. So 0 is my start position and 15 is my end position. So now when I try to find O, it says that O is present in the range 7. Okay, so based on my index position 0 to 15, what should be the range? Okay, let me print it here. So 0, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it started from here. So 0 to 15. So it goes somewhere like until here, right? So hello to well. So for that particular range, I'm mentioning I want to find O, and what it has given me? It has given me the position number 7. It ends here, and therefore I've got the 7 here. And now let's try to find the non-existent substring. Do I have substring here? Okay, do I have the substring Pythonic here? I want to find Pythonic, but I don't have Python. So I have Python here, not Pythonic. And now when I try to find this, I'm putting already it into a try except block. Therefore, I will not get the error. So try to follow the try except block when you are trying to find a non-existent substring. When I run this, it just says that substring not found. So basically, it is throwing out an error. And next, I just want to use the rfind method so as to demonstrate the difference between the rfind and the rindex. And in here, you can see that I've used rfind method and I'm mentioning Pythonic. So instead of throwing out error, it will just return -1. So that is all for today. I hope this session was very useful. So what did we learn today? We learned about rfind method, and then we learned about, sorry, we'll go in order. We learned about rindex, which will start the search from the right side. We learned about the index, so which will start your search from the starting of your string. Then we learned about the or find method, which will start your search from the right side. Then we learned about the find method, which will start searching for your substring from your left side. And then today we started with learning our join method. So based on the join method, you can try to join all your iterables, right, using a particular separators. So that is all for today. And before we end, who are we? We are Data Valley, the fastest growing edtech company of 2020. And we have our headquarters in Hyderabad. So we have 4 centers in Hyderabad. And as an international MNC, we have our headquarters in US and UK as well. So if you're nearby, feel free to check out our headquarters and do visit our website as well at datavalley.ai, where you can find what kind of solutions we provide you with, what kind of support we provide towards your career. So to any sort of your career development or your training or your if you want to develop your skill or your knowledge base, we have got you covered. So do visit our datavalley.ai. If you're new to this channel, do like our content so that it will be motivating for us to give you a lot of contents in the future. And do drop your questions in the comment sections and I will try to address it as soon as possible. Do click the bell icon as well so that you don't miss out on the regular updates from our channel. And until we meet next time, this is Franklin signing off. I hope you all have a good day tonight. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye bye.